Good morning, children. Today we will study the next part of biological classification. So let we see the contents here. That is kingdom Monera. In this part we are going to study the kingdom Monera. So kingdom Monera, some of the portion we have done in the previous lecture, that is the classification of bacteria according to shape, nutrition and mode of respiration. Now today we will study the difference between the gram positive and gram negative bacteria, reproduction in the bacteria, all the methods, fission, conjugation, transduction and transformation, then mycoplasma with three distinctive features, then economic importance of the bacteria, the role of bacteria in sewage treatment, antibiotics, energy production and household products, that is curd and cheese only. So we'll start with the topic, that is the difference between the gram positive and gram negative bacteria. What is the difference? So one of the most important and widely used differential staining technique for bacteria, that is gram staining. On the basis of that gram staining, these bacteria are divided into two groups. These are the gram positive and gram negative bacteria. So what is the procedure of this gram staining? I will explain you in short so you can understand the difference. First, prepare a smear of bacteria on the slide. Then add a few drops of crystal violet stain on the slide, so the bacteria they will take the violet stain. And after 30 minutes rinse the slide with water. Then add iodine. So again the bacteria they will take the deep violet or the purple stain. Then after 20 seconds rinse the slide with water and then wash the slide with the 90% ethanol. So we'll get either of the result here. If the bacteria are decolorized and on staining with safranin, because after washing it with the ethanol there will be that counter stain. Counter stain means again staining will be done with the help of safranin. So if bacteria are decolorized and on staining with safranin they take a red or a pink color, then these bacteria are known as the gram negative bacteria. And if the bacteria they retain the violet color, then they are the gram positive bacteria, because they retained that previous stain. They did not receive the safranin. Understood? So this is the difference between the gram positive and gram negative bacteria, the basis. Now the comparison when we will see here in the cell wall structure and cell wall composition, rigidity of the cell wall. So these are the some points. There are difference in between the gram positive and gram negative bacteria. So cell wall structure here, the peptidoglycan layer. This layer is thick in the gram positive bacteria and it is multi-layered. So here the cell wall is multi-layered, and here in the gram negative bacteria it is very thin, single layered cell wall. Teichoic acids they are present here, they are absent in the gram negative bacteria. Periplasmic space, it is absent in the gram positive bacteria but present in the gram negative bacteria. Lipopolysaccharide LPS content, it is virtually none, it is very high in the gram negative bacteria. Lipid and lipoprotein content present in the cell wall is very low in gram positive but high in the gram negative. Resistance to the physical disruption means how much the cell wall is rigid. So here it is very low in gram positive bacteria there, and it is very high in the gram negative bacteria. So it is not easy to physically disrupt the cell wall of gram positive bacteria. So in gram positive bacteria the cell wall is rigid, because why? What is the reason? Because here the peptidoglycan is more here and the cell wall is multi-layered, while it is being disrupted easily. Reason is there that the thin cell wall is there. Now susceptibility to anionic detergents, it is very low, it is very high because of thinness. Now resistance to drying here, so here it has that low that capacity because of the thick cell wall. It does not dry easily, but it can dry easily because of the thin or single layered cell wall. Now the Gram reaction that we have studied already, because they are already gram positive, so in Gram reaction they retain the crystal violet dye and stain dark violet, and they can be decolorized to accept the counter current, that counter stain, that is the safranin. So this is the comparison between the Gram positive and Gram negative bacteria in their cell wall. Other than these, the nutritional requirements, when we see the nutritional requirements for Gram positive bacteria, it is relatively complex, and it is very simple in the Gram negative bacteria. Then susceptibility to penicillin. Penicillin is an antibiotic. So Gram positive bacteria, they are highly susceptible to the penicillin, while Gram negative bacteria, they are showing the low susceptibility. So these are the differences between the Gram positive and Gram negative bacteria. Now the next topic we are going to study, that is the reproduction. So in bacteria we study the two types of reproduction, that is the sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. So as per your syllabus, in asexual reproduction we are going to study the binary fission. You'll have other processes also, but as per syllabus we have binary fission only. That is the mode of asexual reproduction in bacteria. Others mode also you will see, like the endospore formation and many other, but you have in your syllabus only binary fission. That is the mode of asexual reproduction. This reproduction takes place under the favorable condition in which a bacterial cell divides into daughter cells. How does it take place? So let we see the process here. In this process, what happens under the favorable conditions? During this process, the bacterial chromosome, it divides and it replicates. Replicates means it forms its one more copy. So it replicates, and here it get doubles, and these replicated chromosome, they separate. Then after, what happens, the cytoplasmic membrane, it elongates and separate both the DNA molecule. Here the formation of one more DNA molecule, that is the replication. This is replicated DNA, and after that cytoplasmic membrane elongates, separating both the DNA molecules. Then after, the cross-wall membrane, it invaginates, and the cross-wall formation now takes place, and cross-wall forms completely in between the this bacterium wall. After the formation of that cross-wall, further the daughter cells, they separate and they grow independently. So these are the two daughter cells, they are separated from the parent cell and grow independently. So this is the mode of asexual reproduction in the bacteria by the binary fission. Now next that method we are going to study, that is the sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction in bacteria, it takes place by the different methods. In bacteria, sexual reproduction takes place in the form of genetic recombination. As we know, this is the single cell. It does not produce any gamete or any kind of reproductive organ and all that, because this is unicellular organism. So reproduction takes place in the form of genetic recombination. So it takes place mainly by the three methods, and these three methods are transformation, conjugation and transduction. So the first method we are going to study, this is the transformation. What happens in the transformation? So transformation is the process whereby cell-free or naked DNA containing a limited amount of genetic information is transferred from one bacterial cell to another one. This is the method discovered by Frederick Griffith in 1928. In this method, the bacterium Streptococcus pneumoniae, he studied on this bacterium Streptococcus pneumoniae, and here in this method, one bacterial cell directly absorbs the naked DNA from another bacterial cell. So how does it take place? We will see here the simple diagram here. the DNA fragments from donor cells. So these DNA fragments are from other bacterial cell. And this is the recipient cell, and this is the DNA of the recipient cell. Now recipient cell takes up the donor DNA. Donor DNA enters into the recipient cells. Now recombination occurs between the donor DNA and the recipient DNA. So this is the donor DNA and this is the recipient DNA. Both they undergo recombination. And unrecombinant DNA, it is degraded, and after recombination you can see this DNA, the part of the DNA, which one? This is from the donor one. Now it is the part of the host DNA. Understood? That is the recipient DNA. So this cell now contains its own DNA along with the DNA from the donor cell also. Understood? So this is genetically transformed cell. You do not have the detail of all this process. Just to understand the concept I am explaining you. You have only definitions. Phenomenon is discovered by Frederick Griffith, and he studied in the bacterium Streptococcus pneumoniae. Now the next method of the sexual reproduction is the conjugation. What happens in the conjugation? It was discovered by Joshua Lederberg and Edward Tatum in 1946 in E. coli, that is Escherichia coli. The method of genetic recombination in which the bacteria exchange genetic material by forming the cytoplasmic bridge. A cytoplasmic bridge is formed, and through which the exchange of the genetic material takes place. So exchange of genetic material by direct cell to cell contact in bacteria, that is known as the conjugation. So let me understand how does it take place. So here the plasmid F is involved, plasmid F for fertility. So here plasmid is involved in the transfer of the genetic material, and the bacteria which contain this F plasmid, they are known as the F positive bacteria. Understood? They are known as the F positive bacteria, and the bacteria which lack this F plasmid, means F plasmid is absent here. So these bacteria are known as the F negative bacteria, and F positive bacteria here, they are the donor one, and F negative bacteria, they are the recipient one. So thus mating takes place in between the F positive and F negative bacteria. Now what happens here? Both the bacterial cells, they come together and forms the cytoplasmic bridge, and through this cytoplasmic bridge transfer of the genes of the donor bacteria takes place into the recipient bacteria. So this F plasmid, it passed through the cytoplasmic bridge and transfer the genes of donor into the DNA of the recipient bacteria. So this bridge formation takes place with the help of this pili. The sex pili I explained you already, that helps in the sexual reproduction, through which they come in the contact, both the bacteria, and then form the cytoplasmic bridge. So you can see here that the old donor has already its F plasmid, but one of its part is transferred it into the recipient cell, and now this is also the F positive bacterium. Understood? So this is the process of conjugation. Now next is that sexual reproduction we are going to study, that is the transduction. This transduction process is the process in which the gene is transferred from one bacterium to another by means of temperate bacteriophage. So here bacteriophage helps to transfer the DNA from one bacterium to another bacterium. So this phenomenon was discovered by Andy Zinder and L. Lederberg in 1952, and they done it in the Salmonella typhimurium, the bacterium Salmonella typhimurium. What is done in this? In this transduction, a small piece of bacterial chromosome is incorporated into an attacking phage particle. So a small piece of bacterial chromosome is incorporated into an attacking phage particle, and this is the phage particle. And when this phage particle infects a new host cell, because first it receives the bacterial DNA, and when this infects the new host cell, then what happens, uh, it injects the genetic material into the new bacterial cell, and this chromosome fragment undergoes base pairing with the host chromosome, integrates and becomes a permanent part of the infected chromosome. So phage particle transfers its DNA. This is bacteriophage. It transfers a DNA into the host cell and becomes a part of the bacterial chromosome. Then further, the formation of this phage DNA, it forms many new phage particles carrying the phage DNA, and this is the bacterial DNA. Now after this phage DNA and this bacterial DNA both are present in the bacterium cell, and they form many phage particles which contains the host DNA also in the phage DNA also. Now they undergo recombination. Then the phage DNA, when they infect the other bacterium there, then this bacterium, it has the phage DNA also and the host DNA also. So in this manner, this phage particle, it is used to transfer the DNA of one bacterium into the another bacterium. This is the transduction. Now next, after reproduction of the bacteria, we are going to study the mycoplasma. What are mycoplasma? So mycoplasma are the smallest known living cells that can survive without oxygen and lack a cell wall. So they are the smallest living cells known till now that can survive without oxygen, and they do not have a cell wall. So cell wall is absent in them, and these cells are discovered by Pasteur in 1843 while studying the causative organism of pleuropneumonia in cattle. So they were designated as PPLO, that is pleuropneumonia like organisms, and they were designated like PPLO, and they are frequent contaminants in tissue cultures rich in organic matter. They are found in hot water springs, soil, sewage water, in humans, animals and plants also. Now these mycoplasma, they can pass through many filters due to their plastic nature and grow on media which do not contain the live tissue. So thus they are considered as intermediate between bacteria and the viruses, because viruses, they are simply the DNA and RNA molecules, while the bacteria are the complete prokaryotic cell with the cell wall, a cell membrane, and some other cytoplasm and DNA, RNA within them. So these mycoplasma, they are the smallest cell without cell wall, but the membrane is present in between them. So they are intermediate between the bacteria and viruses. Mycoplasmas, they are characterized by the marked pleomorphism. What is the meaning of pleomorphism? Pleomorphism means they occur in various forms like cocoid, granular, filamentous and cluster-like. And there is much variability in the shape that no two forms are alike. That is why they show the pleomorphism. And these are the small wall-less cells covered by a unit, that lipoprotein membrane, means their membrane is made up of single layer of lipoprotein, and their cytoplasm contain ribosomes, DNA and RNA both. So the genetic material is composed of DNA and RNA both, and it is less than half than usually occurs in other prokaryotes, and is perhaps the lowest limit required for the cellular organisms. Means mycoplasma contain up to 4% DNA and 8% of RNA. Means RNA is more, DNA is less. And they are insensitive to enzymes also and penicillin, but they are killed by tetracycline. They cause serious diseases in human beings, animals and plants. In human beings, they affect respiratory organs, central nervous system, cardiovascular system, and urogenital system. And here the Mycoplasma mycoides, it causes pleuropneumonia in the cattle. So these are the some important features here. So any three characteristic features of Mycoplasma you have to learn. This is the structure of Mycoplasma. You can see that the single layer of the lipoprotein membrane here, made up of the unit lipoprotein membrane, soluble proteins are present, ribosomes are present, and DNA along with the soluble RNA. So this is Mycoplasma PPLO. Now we will study the economic importance of the bacteria. So role of bacteria in the sewage treatment. What is sewage treatment? Sewage treatment is the process of removal of pollutants from the sewage. And the general processes of sewage treatment are primary, secondary and tertiary treatment. You have studied this in 9th class already. These three processes, primary, secondary and tertiary treatment. Now what happens in the primary treatment? In the primary treatment, physical separation of sewage into solid and liquid by using the settling chambers or settling basin. After that, the sewage is sent for the secondary treatment. In secondary treatment, what happens? It involves the removal of dissolved organic compounds by the use of microorganisms. So they digest biodegradable material from sewage, and that is called as the activated sewage. So the form of sewage in which this bacteria, they digest the biodegradable material, this is known as the activated sewage. So here the activated sludge we call it. So bacteria, they make up about 95% biomass of the activated sludge, and two types of microbial processes takes place in the decomposition of organic matter. So this activated sludge we are getting after the secondary treatment, it is made up of 95% of that bacteria are present in this sludge. So two activities are there, that aerobic activity and anaerobic activity. So two processes, aerobic and anaerobic. In aerobic process, the liquid sludge is treated with the aeration to allow aerobic degradation of the nutrient. Aerobic means the air, means oxygen is needed there. You have studied the types of bacteria, aerobic and anaerobic. So here, which of the bacteria they work? They are the aerobic bacteria. So liquid sludge is treated with the aeration to allow aerobic degradation of the nutrients. And the bacteria, they are involved. They are the Nitrosomonas species and Nitrobacter species. Another process is the anaerobic process. In this process, denitrification takes place by the Pseudomonas species. How? Let me see. In the aerobic process, there is nitrification by the Nitrosomonas and Nitrobacter. So first of all, here the ammonium which is present in activated sludge is oxidized to nitrite in the presence of Nitrosomonas species, and then in the next step, nitrite is further oxidized to nitrate in the presence of Nitrobacter species. So this is the aerobic process. In the anaerobic process, there is denitrification. So here denitrifying bacteria, Pseudomonas species, it works. So in that process, what happens? In this process, that this nitrate is further converted into dinitrogen and liberates the nitrogen gas from the sewage with the help of this Pseudomonas bacteria. This is anaerobic process. And the solid component of sewage separated in primary treatment is fermented by this bacteria anaerobically, means air is not needed for this process. So this is the role of bacteria in the sewage treatment. So learn the name of these bacteria. Scientific names are must. Now the role of bacteria in antibiotic production. You know that the first antibiotic which was discovered by the scientists, it was penicillin. So the phenomenal success of penicillin led to the search of other antibiotic producing microorganism. But this penicillin is formed from the fungus Penicillium. So one of that early success in 1943 was the discovery of streptomycin from the soil bacterium. So here bacteria, they also help to produce the antibiotic. So which of the antibiotic are produced by the bacteria? Let me see here. The streptomyces bacteria, they produce various antibiotics like streptomyces aureofaciens produces tetracycline, streptomyces venezuelae produces chloramphenicol, streptomyces ramosus produces oxytetracycline, streptomyces erythraeus produces erythromycin, and this S. freddii, it produces neomycin. And in this way, that streptomycin, it was the first antibiotic. Okay, it is prepared from the streptomyces graeus, means bacterial antibiotic it was, and bacillus subtilis is there, which produces bacitracin. So in this manner, the role of bacteria in the antibiotic production. Then now the role of bacteria in energy production. We know that the microbes have natural ability to digest the organic material efficiently. And now researchers are exploiting these natural processes to maximize energy output from the breakdown of organic waste. So useful renewable fuels produced by microorganisms include hydrocarbon, ethanol, methane and hydrogen, and these are called as the biofuel. So these useful renewable fuels are produced by the microorganisms, and these are all these, they are known as the biofuels. And currently biofuel is produced from plants as well as microbes. The oils, carbohydrates or fats generated by the microbes or plants are refined to produce the biofuel. So this is a renewable energy that helps in conserving the fossil fuel. So let me see the different biofuels which are produced. Alcohol production. In the production of alcohol, yeast cultures have been most extensively used, but that are produced the ethanol, and the bacterial species, that is Zymomonas mobilis, their cultures has been used in the ethanol production. Then the methane, another biofuel. Efficient generation of the methane can be achieved by using methanogenic bacteria. These are Methanococcus and Methanobacterium to produce methane. These are regularly used in the biogas plant. Then electricity from biofuel cells. Biofuel cells, they use here the living organisms to produce the electricity. So for this purpose, certain electrochemically active bacteria like Shevonella putrefaciens and Aeromonas hydrophila have been used to produce the electrochemical gradient. So this is the role of bacteria in the energy production. Next we will see the role of bacteria in the household products. So in your syllabus you have only curd and cheese. Here household food are produced by the family members for their own consumption, and some of the bacteria play important role in the formation of household food. For example, lactic acid bacteria, LAB, like lactobacillus and bifidobacteria, they are used to making for the curd, and yogurt is produced by the bacteria lactobacillus bulgaricus. And here the different varieties of the cheese are also prepared. So Leptobacillus, Leptococcus and Streptococcus families bacteria, they are used to prepare the cheese. These bacteria they produce the cheese. Then sweet, here the varieties of the cheese are there, like the Swiss cheese, which has the large holes produced by carbon dioxide, that is produced by the bacteria Propionibacterium shermani. So there are different bacteria which are used to produce the different type of cheese. So students, this kingdom Monera we have completed, right from the salient feature, then the structure of bacterium, classification of bacteria with the on the basis of the shape, size, respiration, nutrition, then the gram staining, then the production, there the process of the reproduction we have studied. Now you learn these key terms: gram positive bacteria, gram negative bacteria, conjugation, transduction, mycoplasma, biofuel, nitrification, denitrification. So you study